Let's talk about the life of a site engineer. It's one of those jobs that gets pictured in a very specific way, but the day-to-day is a whole different ballgame. So today, we're going to step onto the virtual construction site and really break down the expectation versus the reality.
So, close your eyes for a second. When I say site engineer, what's the first image that pops into your head? It's probably someone looking sharp, clean shirt, brand new helmet, pointing at some blueprints with a look of authority, right? That's a classic image, and honestly, it's what gets a lot of people interested in this career.
And yeah, that image creates a whole set of expectations. You think, okay, I'm gonna be the boss, the work is basically just supervising, and I'll be making bank from day one. But as you're about to find out, the reality on the ground is, well, it's a whole lot more complicated and frankly, way more interesting.
So, let's kick things off with part 1, pressure, problems, and patience. We're going to unpack what the day-to-day really looks like. This is where that shiny, perfect image of the job gets its first layer of real-world dust and grit.
The first big myth we gotta bust is this idea that the site engineer is the undisputed king of the castle, the boss of the whole site. You know, while they do have a ton of responsibility, the reality is they're often the one feeling the squeeze from pretty much every direction.
And I mean, that pressure comes from all sides. It's not just about managing the work, it's about managing people and their totally different expectations. The contractor, they want it done faster and cheaper. The main office, they need the reports like yesterday. And the consultant, they're going over every single detail with a fine-tooth comb. It's a constant high-wire balancing act.
All right, then there's the work itself. The expectation is that it's kind of a chill job. You just monitor things, walk around, make sure progress is happening. But the reality, oh man, it could not be more different. An engineer's real job is basically putting out fires, all day, every day. And that problem solving, it just never stops. It's a grind. One day, your steel shipment is late. The next, half your crew doesn't show up. The day after that, a piece of essential machinery breaks down. You're not just a monitor. You are the project's #1 on-the-spot problem solver.
Okay, so what about the hours? It's gotta be a typical 9 to 5, right? Nope. Here's the thing. A construction site does not care what time it is. It runs on its own clock, and that clock is dictated by deadlines, daylight, and the weather. Just think about this number, 12 plus hours a day, and 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That isn't some rare, crazy day. That's the norm. And if there's a huge concrete pour or a major deadline coming up, yeah, you better believe working through the night is on the table. It is demanding for sure. All right, let's switch gears and move on to part 2, earning your stripes. We're going to talk about respect and salary, because on a construction site, these are not things you're just handed. They are things you have to build from the ground up. You might think just showing up with that white helmet automatically gets you respect from the crew, but on a site, your title means almost nothing at first. That helmet doesn't come with a magical force field of authority. Respect isn't issued with your safety vest. It has to be earned. So how do you earn it? Well, it's a process. It all starts with getting your hands dirty, with actually knowing the work inside and out. Then it comes from being the person who can make the right call when things inevitably go sideways. When you can do that, that's when you start earning real, genuine respect from your team. And here's exactly why that on-the-spot decision-making is so important. A blueprint is perfect, right? It's all clean lines on paper. But the actual ground, it's messy, it's unpredictable. The engineer's real genius is being able to connect that perfect plan to the messy reality. And that takes some serious skill. And finally, the big one, money. The expectation is often a massive salary right out of college, but the reality, especially when you're starting out, is usually a bit more modest. The real pay date isn't at the starting line, it's what you build towards. So your career progression kind of looks like this. You start out at a solid but maybe not spectacular salary. But with every problem you solve, every bit of experience you gain, your value goes up. And your salary? It goes right up with it. The potential is absolutely huge, but you got to put in the work. Okay, I know. We've talked about pressure, long hours, tough problems. It sounds pretty intense, right? But now we get to the really good part. This is where we see how all those challenges are actually what create unbelievable opportunities. So you really have to ask yourself, with everything we just talked about, why would anyone sign up for this? And the answer is actually pretty simple. Because the stuff you gain from facing those challenges head-on, it's just immense. And here it is.
This is the big payoff. You get real, practical knowledge you could never learn in a classroom. The learning curve is insane. It's like getting a PhD in real-world engineering in just a few years. All that experience builds this rock-solid foundation for huge future roles, which means your career can grow stronger and faster than you can imagine.
So let's bring it all home. When you really look past those initial glossy expectations, you find something much more valuable, a career that is literally forged in the field.
So, yeah, the reality is a whole lot tougher than the expectation. But here's the secret. That's not a bad thing. It's the whole point. The intense pressure, the nonstop problems, those are the very things that shape you into a truly strong, capable, and incredibly valuable engineer. And if there's just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this powerful idea. Your college education gives you the blueprint, but the field is your real teacher. That's where the real learning happens. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Now that you know the deal, the real challenges, and the incredible rewards, the question isn't whether the job is what you expected. The real question is, are you ready for the reality?